Okay, continue.
Okay, thank you. What we say this in our sessions is please respect each other. I'm sure you're going to. Please facilitate the participation of everyone, so everybody is welcome to participate. We should not make assumptions about other people's identities and experiences. We shouldn't be defensive. We should try to listen and learn. We do not tolerate any harmful, oppressive, or abusive behaviour. We will remove any persons from this space who do not act in accordance with that. For people that are here this morning, those of us that are here, we ask that people keep their masks on if you're not speaking, that you socially distance and respect the one-way system, which is out towards the back of the auditorium. We ask that if people show any symptoms of COVID, that they isolate and book a test. So just to let you know, the fire exit is at the back on our right-hand side, and that is also the exit for the auditorium. So a very warm welcome, and I let you start. Thank you.
Thank you. So, very first of all, thank you for being here. I know that morning sessions are difficult to attend. So hello, the activists who are following us from all around the world, from different time zones, and we salute your struggle. Today, participants of this panel will be sharing information about the main issues of climate activism in Turkey, their activist practices, organizations, and stories. We will hear first Süheyla Doğan, who is with me on this stage, is Ecology Union's, as you may say, co-spokesperson and head of Kaz Dağları Natural and Cultural Heritage Conservation Association. So, then we will hear Raşit Fırat Deniz, who is representative of Environmental Engineers Chamber of TMOP, which is the Union of Chambers of Engineers and Architects. Afterwards, Baran Örnek will share with us young climate activists' perspectives and mobilizations. After Baran, we will hear scientists Beyza Üstün and Murat Türkeş, and lawyers Burcu Özaydın, İsmail Hakkı Atal. So once all the speakers finish their speeches, we will have the Q&A session with all participants, including Zoom participants. So if you couldn't follow the names of the organizations, so you may find on the third page of our leaflet a list of members, and you may send us email to get in touch with these organizations. Süheyla, floor is yours.
Thank you a lot. Hello, friends from Turkey. Hello to who came here in the early morning. Yes, we are in COP26 at People's Summit for Climate Justice. And this session is about the struggle against climate justice, for climate justice in Turkey. And here I represent Kazda Association, which we have established in 2012. It is a local organization. And then another organization, it is Kaz Dağları Ecology Platform, we have established in 2020. It is a regional platform. And then Union of Ecology, we have established in 2017. It's a national network. And we have also just recently established COP26 Coalition Turkey in 2021. It is a network for climate justice in Turkey. And this is the place where my association, Kazda Association, is established. It is Biga Peninsula. And here are the members of the Union of Ecology, all around from Turkey. We have associations, initiatives, platforms. We are about 66. In Bergama, we have met together in 2017 and decided to establish the Union of Ecology. I will give topics of the ecocide projects in Turkey. There are many projects and investments realized which cause climate change. governments before and the existing Erdogan government, together with the private capitalist national and multinational companies, ruined Turkey, and they continue to ruin for their own interest. We face the effect of the climate change as fires lasting very long in many places at the same time, floods, droughts, lack of water, increase in the temperature, sudden changes in the weather. This summer passed very, very badly. Many forests and agricultural areas were burned down and many people lost their lives. I live in a small village. There are no more water now in the fountains of my village anymore. So we also face the effect of the war in the Middle East and east of Turkey, causing ecocide. Security forces are burning the forest for the security reasons. There are many main projects are mining projects, especially metallurgical and gold mining. About 70% of the Turkey are under license of mining. And then there are thermal coal power plants, more than 50. There are many new projects under planning also. There are 2 nuclear power plants. One is under construction and the other is at the environmental impact assessment period. And there are many, many so-called renewable energies like wind, geothermal, hydropower plants. And there are mega projects, we call them. 3rd bridge over Bosphorus, 3rd airport in Istanbul, which are realized. And there is another silly project, mega project. It is Channel Istanbul project. They will planning to make a new channel parallel to the Bosphorus channel, an artificial channel. And there are industrial, agriculture and husbandry projects also in Turkey. And capitalist urbanization, many high buildings and no green areas. And there are many, many motorways constructed and being planned to construct everywhere, all over Turkey. So concrete, concrete, concrete everywhere. I will talk about extractivism in Turkey at this part of my presentation. Mining, extractivism, especially metallurgical mining and gold mining, is one of the big reasons of climate change because it causes deforestation, loss of agricultural areas, and affects under and above surface water systems, and it pollutes both soil, water, and air also. If we look at the history of mining in Turkey, before Republic, during Ottoman time, there were many, many capitulations. French, German, Italian companies were doing mining in Anatolia. After Republic, 1923, capitulations were cancelled and all those minings were given to the state companies, to the state. But in most of the countries all over the world, in 1980s, privatization has started and the state companies were closed and all the minings were sold to private sector mainly. And in 1985, again, in Turkey and all over the world, mining laws were changed by the companies. Companies prepared the laws and passed to the third world countries like us, and the law passed, mining law passed from the national assemblies. AKP, Islamic Right-Wing Party, came to power in 2002 in Turkey, and everything gets worse and worse after that period. 2004, it is a very critical year for mining. Mining law was revised. It was created again. It was a very, very big change, like all over the world. And everywhere was open to mining. Forestries, agricultural areas, water resources areas were open to mining. And a lot of incentives and tax exemptions were given to the multinational companies, and they were invited to Turkey for taking over all the mining licenses. You see some multinational companies in Turkey in mining sector, like Eldorado Gold, Euro Gold, Normandy, Newmont, Tech Cominco, Chester, Ariana Resources, Frontier, Apex, like Alamos Gold.
Pardon, bizi duyabiliyor musunuz?
Şu an ses gelmiyor.
Pardon.
Evet duyuluyor.
Konuşmacının sesi çevirmene gitmiyor. Bize de gelmiyor. O yüzden çeviri yapılamıyor da
Tamam,
uyarmamı rica
hallediyorum
ettim.
şimdi. Pardon, bir saniye lütfen.
Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, it happens with Zoom.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
Rica ederim.
Yeah. And also we have on the Zoom we have Turkish translation. That is because it is a little bit.
Do you hear us?
Yeah, yeah, 100%.
Türkiye'dekiler duyuyor musunuz?
Duyuyor
Wish
musunuz?
I could help, sorry.
Evet, duyuluyor şu an.
Tamam.
Tamam.
Mikrofonu, şu
Devam
mikrofonları
ediyorum.
kapatın cızırtı olunca. Bunu kapatmayın. Değil mi?
Türkiye'deki, sorry, I started
no
in
problem.
Turkish. And there are banking financing system in mining sector. So we see here all the banks who are financing metallurgical mining in Turkey. As you see from the list, there is Royal Bank of Scotland also in the banking system. European Bank of Development and Reconstruction is also one of the biggest sponsors of the gold mining. In Turkey, first gold mining project was in Bergama 2001. A lot of demonstrations were done for it, and we have won a lot of courts, but the Council of Ministry declared a special decision and started the project against all these scientific and environmental impact period. So they made a special decision for it to start the project. At the moment, there are 20 gold mining projects under operation. You saw these purple small round circles. There are the gold mining projects. This is the area where I live, Kaz Dağı area, Mount Ida area. As you see from the number, 79% of the Biga Peninsula is under license, either operating or research, or the green parts are going to be sold in the next very near future. So this is Black Sea coast, Artvin, 75%, and Muğla, South Mediterranean, 59%, and east of Turkey, Erzincan and Tunceli, 52%. As you see, as an average, 70% of Turkey is all licensed. And I will show you some of the gold mining projects. Humad, it is already working in Lapseki and on Ivrindi also. And this is the Kirazlı project in Mount Ida, which we have stopped this project. It's a victory. So I will talk more about this Kirazlı project later. And this is Erzincan İliç project. There is a third capacity increase in this project. As you see, there is a Blue River there, which is a very famous river, and it is very close to that river, the gold mining area. This is Fatsa project in the, again, Black Sea coast. They also try to increase capacity, third time. And this is another project. This is from, again, Black Sea, Gümüşhane. This is in Aegean part, Kışladağ. And Çukuralan. And this is Bergama, the first gold mining project. It has been, I think, increased 3 times, capacity increasing. So I will talk some more about my area, Biga Peninsula, and Kiraz, the gold mining project, which we have stopped. This is the blue circle where the project is. The project has started in 1987. Eldorado Gold was the first company who took the exploration license, and Newmont Company bought half of the shares later. After some research, they stopped the project. In 2002, the area was sold to another company, Tech Resources, by the Ministry of Energy and Natural Resources. They continued exploration. And another company, Frontier Resources, has bought 40% of the shares. In 2007, Frontier announced the technical feasibility report. And in 2009, the license were sold to Alamos Gold Inc. Company, which is a Canadian company, for $20 million. And the period of the operation was planned as 6 years. In 2010, company received the decision that environmental impact assessment is not necessary. So they could start work in the area immediately for a halloysite project, not a gold mining project. They trick a lot in Turkey. First, they say we will extract either halloysite or quartz or feldspar. They don't get so all those long periods of environmental impact assessment. They got no necessary decision and start there. And then later they prepare a new file for the gold mining and they start this procedures later again. So we have sued the case for EIA decision. We won and they have changed the file. They have prepared another report and then we have sued again. We won again. But the company and the ministry applied to the Supreme Court and we lost at the Supreme Court. So political decisions involved there. This is the area before the project started. In 2019, Minister of Forestry started cutting the trees to give the land to the company, while the case in the Supreme Court was continuing, not even stopped. The company, Alamos Gold, brought machinery and containers to the site and fenced all over the area. After we have seen that the forests were cut, photographs and videos were taken, and we have served all these photos and videos. And all over Turkey, our struggle started once more against this project. In 2019 July, Çanakkale municipality also and with the NGOs, they have established a committee, Water and Conscious Watch Committee, and the committee invited all people and NGOs all over Turkey. They made a call to invite people to the mining area. Many NGOs and people came and set up tents in a place near a mining area. And every day, many visiting groups came from different parts of Turkey. There were more than 100 tents in the camp. So every day demonstrations were done in front of, at the entrance of the place, my project area. In August, a big call was made to public to come to Kirazlı mining project area. Nearly 20,000 people met at the site and entered through the mining area and occupied the area for some hours. It was a great day. Later, a lot of activities were carried at the camp area. Concerts, plays, exhibitions, forums, discussions were made at the camp. And a new common life started at the resistance area. As you see, a new life in the area started. And exhibitions on the fences of the mining area. This is my organization's banner. This is the entrance of the mining area. every day in the morning and in the evening, we were marching to the entrance and observing what is going on inside. Marching every day. This is the big gathering. This is the occupation of the mining. People entered into the mining. And we have a very famous composer, pianist, Fazıl Say. He said, I want to give a concert at the mining, near the mining area. And it was a very interesting and emotional moment for me also. I stayed in the camp to get up early, to be in front of to be near to Fazıl Say. And I managed. I was very close to the piano. And many people came all over Turkey. Maybe we say maybe 40,000 people came for the concert. And this is the concert moment. While he was playing, a bird was on the tree, and bird was also joining the concert. It was very nice moment. And many tents were built near the project area. Many activists stayed there and explored the area every day. Many demonstrations were held. Daily walk done. There was a really nice common life. Struggle in the tent has continued 425 days, 2 summers and 1 winter, even under the COVID period. These are the winter tents. And this is the old building of the Ministry of Forestry. It was ruined, and the activists repaired it and used it as kitchen and living room, something like that. And children were there with us everywhere. And this is the winter period in the camp. And also regular demonstrations at the city center were done in Çanakkale every Saturday to support the tent area. And in the October, the period of the finishing time of the license, ministry could not extend the license because of our struggle, and company couldn't work. Later, COVID pandemic started and strict rules were brought. We were not allowed to the tent area anymore. It was forbidden to enter to the forest by the decision of the mayor. And they started giving us fines, money punishments, who tried to enter to the tent area. And nearly 100,000 euros we were punished. Me personally had about 1,000 pounds penalty. We have rejected to pay it, and we have opened case against that penalties. And after 225 days, nearly until early morning, and special police like soldiers came into the area and attacked the tents and evacuated the area. They came with a lot of vehicles and many soldiers, maybe 200 soldiers for 5 people who were at the camping area. And they have evacuated everything, ruined everything, and even they ruined that old building. Now there is nothing like that old building, and they have planted trees there. That was the nicest part, planting tree there. And later, company had to take all the machinery and containers out of the area. And now we are demanding the rehabilitation of this area, and we also demand the cancellation of this area as a mining area. First, they have to cancel that this area is not a mining area anymore, and then start the rehabilitation of the area. And we continue struggle for the other mining projects in the Biga Peninsula and also for the other projects all over Turkey. Not only mining, we also fight for the other ecocide projects all over Turkey. As you see, blues are wind power energies, orange ones are gold mining projects, red ones geothermal energy power plants and thermal power plants. As you see, Biga Peninsula and also Turkey was occupied with all these ecocide projects, even the so-called renewable projects. I think. Am I out on my time?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Seyla, for this amazing and terrifying panoramic view of struggles and sharing a happy ending story. That was cool. Now we will connect to Turkey to hear about the government's politics from representative of Environmental Engineers Chamber, Raşit Fırat Deniz. Say, I hope he's there, connected.
Yeah, I'm here. Hello.
Fantastic. Welcome. And could you tell us more about your reporting activities and strategies of the political power in Turkey?
Yeah, thank you very much. Hi, I'm Raşit Fırat Deniz from Chamber of Environmental Engineers, Istanbul branch. It's great to be here, first of all. To define us and what we do, we are a semi-public professional institution and have a law that defines our actions on competition. We annually publish reports about climate change, drought, soil, and water pollution, and lately, famous mega project of Istanbul. We also share our Istanbul environmental status report annually on the occasion of the week for struggle against ecological destruction and so on. Today, I want to talk about climate change agreements, mega projects, and intentions, actually. Although Turkish government signed the Paris Agreement, we can clearly see there is no intention to make it, even with its insufficient requirements. In our annual 2020 environmental status report, we indicate that almost the entire Istanbul population breathes polluted air. Considering that 20% of the whole country population live in Istanbul, we can see how big is the problem. And also, there are mega projects in Istanbul. Due to recent projects such as Third Bridge and Third Airport, Istanbul's water basins have been critically damaged. And within the Kanal Istanbul project, the water basins fallen within the sphere of influence of the project will disappear. While these mega projects make people access to water more expensive and it also decreases water quality. I'm saying all those because it's all connected. You can't separate water, waste, and food policies from climate change policies. To achieve a certain point or a goal, we have to form an all-around ecological-based action plan. As I said, we see no intention to achieve such a goal from Turkish government, and actually, it doesn't matter how many agreements they sign or not sign, because other than they had a massive destruction on ecology in the last 20 years, they had their political press on us too. As I said before, we are a semi-public institution and we have our elections once in 2 years. But last year, after our objections and lawsuits against Kanal Istanbul project, actually not Kanal Istanbul project, Kanal Istanbul environmental impact assessment report, which we see as very insufficient, the government had a law proposal against us. They want to change election system in the Union of Chambers of Turkish Engineers and Architects that we member of, increase the economic and executive audits, and restrict one of our national obligations to inform public. We cannot expect a government that has a constant pressure on ecological and environmental organizations, but also has ability or desire to change the world in a good ecological way. We can briefly define this as hypocrisy. Now, that's all I'm saying, and if you have any questions or comments, I will be happy to hear and answer. Thank you very much again. Love from Turkey.
Oh, thank you, Raşit, to enlighten the audience on the political
duyabiliriz.
Yeah, for the political power side of the story was also interesting. So I want to invite you back to some hope-giving stories. So now it's time to leave the floor to the youth. So Baran, are you there?
Hello,
Baran, can you
I'm
hear me?
here.
It's
Can you
fantastic.
hear me?
Yes, sure. Could you tell us about how younger people get organized, in which conditions take place their actions, and the reactions that you get from different people?
Of course. I prepared a little presentation and now I'm sharing a screen.
Great.
Mostly I will talk, but I want to show you guys some photos of the things we have done and things we will do. Can you give me a authorization for screening share?
Kaan, yardımcı olabilir misin?
Okay, I'll try also. Sorry, I thought somebody had done it already. Baran. Nerede? Burada değil mi? More
Olmadı mı?
co-host. More make co-host. Make co-host. Okay.
Here you are.
Lovely.
Okay. I guess you can see.
Yes.
Okay, now I'm starting. Hello again, everyone. I'm Baran Örnek. I'm 18 years old. I'm a climate activist. I'm a first-year student of management engineering at Istanbul Technical University, and I know that my house is on fire. I have been participating in demonstrations for about 3 years, trying to raise awareness. In the last few months, by acting in partnership with different youth groups, from the organizations of the global climate strikes to the campaign management, we carry out activities in many places, from conferences to interviews. On September 1st, World Peace Day, we established the Climate Pioneers, İklim Öncüleri, within the body of the science virus, bilim virüsü. As Roots and Shoots, Fridays for Future, Youth for Climate, and Climate Pioneers, we organized the September 24 and October 22 global climate strikes in Istanbul. On September 24, after the morning weekend picnic and the press release in Kadıköy Rıhtım, we walked to Museum Gazhane and held free concerts with famous Turkish singers such as Can Bonomo, Nilüpek, Noban Orda, and Can Kazas. On October 22, we carried out our strike in Maçka Park with the participation of many youth groups. As youth groups united against the climate crisis, we launched a campaign on change.org under the name of Turkey Youth Climate Movement, Climate Union, about a month ago. Our aim is to declare a climate emergency in Turkey. Our campaign, which reached 10,000 signatures in its first week, has 15,000 signatures. About 2 weeks ago, we sent a letter to the Turkish Grand National Assembly containing our demands. At the Youth Climate Conference, organized in partnership with the European Union delegation to Turkey and Science Virus, we prepared messages with 100 young people from all over Turkey to be delivered to COP26. In this event, climate pioneers Melissa and Resul held a joint forum with EU Ambassador to Turkey, volleyball writer Zülfü Livaneli, and volleyball writer Buket Uzuner, and presented their paper to them. On November 5, Istanbul Metropolitan Municipality Mayor Ekrem İmamoğlu and climate pioneers Melissa and Resul held a joint forum. They conveyed the demands of the young people at the launch of the new climate vision of IMM. We took part in the 7 November Istanbul Marathon as Turkey Youth Climate Movement. These are just events where climate pioneers, of which I am one of the founders, has played an active role since its establishment, and most of them are organizers. Apart from these activities, we have organized with other groups united under the umbrella of Turkey Youth Climate Movement. Other youth groups also carry out many activities in their own right. So this picture is from the one of the global climate strikes we held on September 24. This is the link of our campaign, and I'm there next to the turtle, and I'm on the stage with Nilipek. So, what does Generation Z want? Why are we trying so hard? What are our aims and demands? What are we trying to achieve with these activities? We are young people who have come together to defend the right to life of all living things and ecosystems and to fight in the light of science. Our aims to be a voice for the regions and communities most affected by the climate crisis, to defend our planet and our rights, to announce our demands that we have voiced for years and to convey them to decision makers. Because we no longer want to see the destruction of nature, the violation of the right to life, the snatching of our future, we want to see concrete solutions to climate crisis. We say that the system must change, not the climate. Decision makers' failure to take meaningful and rapid steps to combat the climate crisis, their inability to grasp the urgency of the crisis, and their ignorance of the climate crisis have led to the deepening of the climate crisis. The climate crisis is deepening existing injustice and creating new injustices. Our planet is exposed to the effects of the climate crisis more and more every day. The critical systems that sustain life on our planet are approaching the point of irreversible collapse. We are increasingly observing the effects of the climate crisis in our country. Our country is one of the countries most affected by the climate crisis. Increasing heat waves due to the climate crisis triggered fires in the south of our country, and temperature records are being broken. The climate crisis is exacerbating the floods caused by poor urbanization in the Northeast. The seas, which are very important in the fight against the climate crisis, are exposed to mucilage as a result of taking care of those who live waste to the sea, not life. Disasters which are directly caused by the climate crisis or due to the unsustainable systems established by some people and whose severity increases with the climate crisis also affect the economy, social life, culture, and politics. The climate crisis is in our home and it affects everyone. Do not ignore this crisis that we all have experienced and are in. Take action. Authorities say the future is us, young people, but the future is threatened by the climate crisis. While scientists insist that our world has given a red alert, they say that we have no time left to control the climate crisis and that action must be taken today. We young people have already taken action, but we can only win this fight if we ensure intergenerational dialogue and act together. We need decision makers in tackling the climate crisis. The news that the Paris Climate Agreement has been ratified has increased our hope for our future. However, in order to have a livable and fair future, we are aware that we need to abandon fossil fuels and turn to renewable energy sources, protect green areas and ecosystems, and set stronger targets for emission reduction. This is exactly why we want to remind you of our demands for the climate crisis that we have been expressing for years. With the awareness that Turkey is one of the countries most affected by the climate crisis, declaring a climate emergency, establishing a climate crisis science board, taking action against the destruction brought about by the crisis, ensuring equality of opportunity within the framework of climate justice and social justice. And in order for all these to happen, young people must have an active, equal voice and right at every stage of the decision-making process. While we share the dream of a livable future, we hope that decision makers will be a part of the fight against climate change and ecological destruction and take action with us. But as Greta Thunberg said, all leaders do is talk. COP26 is no longer a climate conference. It's the North's global greenwashing campaign. Leaders get together and say only blah, blah, blah. We emphasize that the climate crisis is not a joke. It is our reality and our new normal. We are in a crisis. Therefore, we hope that our country will not build a new coal-fired power plant before the end of the COP26 and will announce the date of the exit from coal. As the first week of 26th meeting of the parties on UN climate change, COP26, is completed, the steps to stop using coal, which contributes the most to greenhouse gas emissions, continue to come one after another. However, Turkey, which has ratified the Paris Climate Agreement, does not make any statement regarding the exit from coal. We agree that the fastest and most realistic step Turkey should take is to remove coal from electricity system by 2030 at the latest. Considering the first step on the road to a carbon neutral Turkey exit coal 2030 report published recently, we want the existing coal incentives to be removed and carbon emissions to be priced within the framework of the polluter pays principles. Thus, we think that the coal exit will take place in its natural course until 2030 at the latest. Turkey took an important step by becoming a party to the Paris Climate Agreement and joined the climate struggle. But the struggle is not over. It is just beginning. The climate crisis is not at our door. It is now in our home, and it affects everyone. Do not ignore the crisis that we all have experienced and are in. Take action. We no longer want to hear just words, but to see real actions. We need decisive actions, not ostensible promises and policies. Turkey urgently needs to create a roadmap on how to achieve the 2053 carbon neutral target by establishing a committee that will include expert and objective scientists, non-governmental organizations, and young climate activists. The politicians who make these commitments today may not be in their current positions in 2053, but 2050 is our future, and before this date, we will follow up so that Turkey fulfills its responsibility as Turkey Youth Climate Movement. We reiterate our demands for the Climate Emergency Declare campaign, which we started on change.org and which was supported by more than 15,000 signatures in a short time. Let the net zero target of 2050 be legally secured by binding laws as required by the climate emergency. Establish realistic and stable emissions reduction targets for all sectors that cause carbon emissions. Include independent and expert scientists, non-governmental organizations, and youth representatives as permanent members in the committees where the carbon neutral target roadmap will be created. Establish a scientific committee against the climate crisis. A commitment to exit coal should be made no later than 2030, and the planned coal projects should be cancelled, and the budget allocated to green energy should be increased. In schools, the issue of climate crisis should be added to the curriculum from primary school, and students should be trained on this subject, and sustainable life information should be presented. Let the projects that will cause ecological destruction in important natural areas such as Kaz Mountains, Akbelen Forest, and Valdebagro be stopped, and action should be taken against the violations of rights brought about by the climate crisis. Equality of opportunity should be ensured within the framework of climate justice and social justice. In order for all of this to happen, young people should take an active, equal voice and take part in every step of the decision-making process.
İklim kriziyle ilgili. Ama ne
We
yapayım
want
ben?
to be a voice for the countries, regions, and communities most affected by the climate crisis, namely MFA, most affected people and areas. Defend our planet and our rights, make our demands heard for years, and mobilize decision makers. As young climate activists, we are fighting and will continue to fight for the rights of women, children, LGBT+ individuals, nature, and living things. Until the necessary measures are taken for the climate crisis all over the planet, we will make the voices of living beings affected by all ecological destructions and disaster and inanimate beings such as air, water, and soil heard. We expect decision makers to make the same promise and take action. There are some other photos from the other strikes from the stage, me, from stage, all of us, from the strike again, me reading the press release, from the European Union Turkey Delegation Conference, strikes. And these are for the contact. Thank you for listening to me. You can contact me from LinkedIn, Instagram, mail, and please sign the campaign we have prepared at change.org. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Baron. And we hope to see you in person at the next year's meeting so that you may meet with the other young activists here. So now
I hope
it's
so
time-
too.
Yeah. Now it's time to hear the scientific perspective, as you mentioned also in your presentation. So we will be listening Professor Dr. Murat Türkeş, if he managed to get into the Zoom. I'm not sure. If he's not here yet, I don't know. Murat, are you here? Okay, then so I'll switch to the lawyers first, then get back to the scientists. So we will first hear Burcu Özaydın, and afterwards Ismail Hakkı Atal. Burcu will explain us the legal situation in Turkey. Burcu, do you hear me? Burcu. Because we were thinking that we'll see first the legal situation in Turkey and then the international level of the legal procedures. So as you may see, Ismail Hakkı Atal is with us. So he'll be talking about the international level of the legal procedures, the cases. Ismail.
Thank you very much. Do you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. I agree with young climate activist Baran. And politicians are wasting time. And I think they are pretending themselves like doing something. And I think that we force politicians, and I think we must force the legal system. Therefore, I would like to offer a basic law proposal about international measurement. And all we know the exponential increase in climate change related wildfires, epidemics, heat waves, and rising sea levels indicate there is no time to waste. And this kind of effects, there is a cause and effect relation between climate change and fossil fuel consumption. And I think this connection should be, must be evaluated as to commit climate crime, ecocide crime against humanity. Although humanity has so limited time to prevent reaching climate change irrevocable line, and governments don't have any punishment rules on fossil fuel consumption and mining facilities also. And there is a court established which can judge the climate crimes like ecocide, crime against humanity. This court's name is ICC, International Criminal Court. And under these circumstances, it is needed to have faster solutions such as judging causing climate change as crime against humanity. And ICC, International Criminal Court, crime against humanity is identified in the Article 7 acts when committed as part of a widespread or systematic attack directed against any civilian population in the planet. Causality between causing climate change and crime types which listed on Rome Statute Article 7 is so obvious. Article 7A, Article 7B, Article 7D and Article 7K. And Article 7A, murder. Causing climate change is an act which directed to 8 billion population of planet will be resulted or are being resulted that of some population by epidemics, droughts, famine, and lack of basic needs and security. As of the results, causing climate change is an attack against 8 billion population of the planet. Harming climate system means that destroying basic needs of humanity is a new type of murdering. Article 7B, which is listed on and prohibited in Rome Statute, Article 7B, extermination, genocide. Causing climate change is an act which directed to 8 billion population of planet will be resulted, are being resulted, directed to 8 billion population of planet will be genocide by droughts, famine, bacteria and viruses which are mutated like coronavirus, COVID-19 with no immunity of humans. As of the results, causing climate change is devastating main ecosystems, planet climate conditions, hydrological cycles, and terrestrial loops. Causing climate change is an attack against 8 billion population of the planet, and this attack may cause end of human civilization and extermination of huge civilian population. And harming climate system means that a new type of genocide may named ecocide. Article 7D, deportation of forcible transfer of population is prohibited by Rome Statute Article 7D. Causing climate change is an act which will be resulted, are being resulted, famine, drought, lack of basic needs, change of coastal edge lines, rising sea levels, and abnormal climate conditions. Heat waves are forcing to people migrate. Therefore, number of climate refugees are rising and civilian people must to migrate to survive. So obvious causality is certain between causing climate change and deportation of population, which is identified in Article 7D. Article 7K, other inhuman acts of a similar character, intentionally causing great suffering or serious injury to body or to mental or physical health is prohibited by the Rome Statute, Article 7K. In every passing moment, planet Earth may face another nuclear disaster like Fukushima or Chernobyl. By the reason of climate disasters, there is no safe land at the planet anymore. Earthquakes may be triggered by the climate change, according to the scientific research. Another fatal risk that is faced by humanity is the microbes and the viruses that were kept frozen under the glaciers and permafrost and are released due to the climate change. Scientists are suspicious about whether human body has immunity or not to these microbes and viruses hidden millions of years as frozen. And and scientists also determined that coronavirus mutations as COVID-19 reason is ecocide attacks to the planet's ecosystem. These multiple attacks are directed by the fossil fuel companies, destroying forest acts, mining facilities, industrial agriculture, and industrial farming are listed and determined by the scientific researchers as reason of the COVID-19 epidemic. We must establish a global resolution for global climate change problems. We must force unwilling politicians on global resolution, a global court which will judge the climate crimes. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ismail, for your presentation. It's true that in Turkey we have been witnessing ecocides of the political power and the companies. So that's how I want to switch to the scientific perspective, because about all these ecocides, Murat was one of the academic reviewers of the IPCC report. So if he is now with us, I would like to ask him more about this report, and especially what does this report say about Turkey and neighbor countries. Murat, are you with us? Okay. Well, we cannot reach Murat yet. That's what I understand. Okay. While we're waiting, do you have any questions, like for the people who presented until now? Okay, just a second.
Hello, thank you very much for all of this. It's yeah, really interesting. So Hella, this is a question for you. I just wanted to, how did you win the case? Was it through the legal action, or how did the protest actually win?
Yeah, in October 2019, it was the expiring period of the operating license.
Pardon.
Okay, continue.
The period of the company was up to October 2019. After our struggle, at that time, government didn't elongate, expire the operating license, so company had no more license anymore to operate. Because all the forestry licenses were depending on the mining operating license, if there is no operating license, then mining forestry licenses also were cancelled after 1 year. The company stayed nearly 1 year temporary period just to get off their equipment, machinery, containers, etc. They stayed 1 year without operating, doing anything. At the end, and the operating license was not expired, so they have to go away.
Good job.
So I think that Murat now is with us. Murat? No, still not. Then okay.
No, he's done.
Yes, there is one Murat, but I cannot see the video, so I'm not sure if it's the right person. So
Okay.
okay. Do you have any other questions or like remarks, or I don't know?
Could you unmute Murat? Because we
Okay,
turned
just
it
a
off.
second.
He's not sure about ask to unmute. Okay, we will see.
Can I say something?
Yeah, sure.
Congratulations, what a fight. 450 days. It's a great fight. Great fight.
Thank you.
Just to add that, what are you doing any at the moment as well, presently?
Mikrofonu ver. Versen mikrofonu bana dolan. Sorry.
Murat hocam.
Just very quickly then. I just say, currently, are you engaged in any further demonstrations or anything as well?
Now we are asking for rehabilitation of that area. Now some topsoil was taken out from the area. In some part, topsoil was staying there. So in the area where there is topsoil, the nature started rehabilitating itself. In the other part, no. So there has to be something done at the soil taken out. So we applied to Ministry of Forestry to start rehabilitation immediately. We make campaigns, start rehabilitation. We will also join what has been done. We are writing letters to Minister of Forestry. They say, we will do it, but we don't have enough money now. We will have our budget, and when we have our budget, we will rehabilitate. They say like this. Official answer is this. The company went to arbitration. Let's see what will happen. A very big amount against Turkey, international court. Yes.
Okay.
Murat Hoca is online now.
Yes, and hello, dear professor, thank you for your time. And I would like to ask you more about the report, the IPCC report, and especially its impacts Turkey and also neighbor countries. We cannot hear you. Okay, I asked you unmute because we don't hear you.
I am mute now.
Yes, that's fine.
Hello. Yeah, okay, I am mute now. Do you hear me? Okay.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Okay, I would like to give some information about dealing with your question. The intergovernmental panel, the IPCC, I would like to give some general information about the IPCC. The IPCC was created to provide policymakers with regular scientific assessments on climate change, its implications and potential future risks, as well as to put forward adaptation and mitigation options. In terms of the last report, for instance, the summary for policymakers and all full report of the IPCC Working Group 1, namely the physical sciences basis of climate change, provided also a high-level summary of the understanding of the current state of the climate, including how it is changing and the role of human influence. You have discussed in Glasgow and the Framework Convention on Climate Change, the Paris Agreement issues, the state of knowledge about possible climate futures based on the model studies and their assessment, and also climate information relevant to regions and sectors and limiting human-induced climate change. Those are the main frame of the IPCC. Based on scientific understanding, the key findings can be formulated as statements or facts or associated with an assessed level of confidence, indicated using the IPCC calibrated language. In general, saying based on the last IPCC report, human-induced climate change is already affecting many weather and climate extremes in every region across the globe. Evidence of observed change in extremes such as heat waves we faced in Turkey this summer, last summer. Heavy precipitation also, droughts and tropical cyclones, in particular in the tropical regions of the world. In particular, their attribution to human influence has strengthened since assessment report 5, AR5. The main conclusions from the IPCC report dealing with the current state of the climate, it is unequivocal that human influence has warmed the atmosphere, ocean and land. Observed increases in mixed greenhouse gases, carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide, for instance, since around 1750 are unequivocally caused by human activities. Each of the last 4 decades has been successfully warmer than any decade. They preceded it since 1850, or in general from the Industrial Revolution, after the Industrial Revolution. Global, for instance, global surface temperature in the first 2 decades of the 21st century was about 1 degree Celsius, higher than the industrial level. Again, the likely range of total human caused global surface temperature increase from 1850 to 19 to 2010 to 2019 is about 0.8 degrees to 1.3 degrees, with a best estimate of 1.7 degrees Celsius. It is very likely that when mixed greenhouse gases were the main drivers of the tropospheric warming since 1979, and extremely likely that human-caused stratospheric ozone depletion was the main driver of cooling of the lower stratosphere between 1970 and the mid-1990s. Some clear results from the IPCC report. The human influence was on the climate system at a rate that is unprecedented in at least the last 2,000 years. For instance, the last decade is more likely than not warmer than during any sustained period in the carbon interglaciation. Temperatures are reaching levels that seen during the previous interglacial era. 125,000 years ago. And also the human influence was going to the climate system at a rate that is unprecedented in the last 2,000 years. The model also shows us the influence of the human activities on these global temperature variations, in addition to the natural effects on the global surface temperature. With every increment of the global warming, also change get larger in region mean temperature, precipitation, and soil moisture. For instance, for a simulated change at 2 degrees Celsius global warming, Mediterranean basin, including Turkey, will much more warmer than today. For instance, with a 2 degrees Celsius global warming, Turkey in the future will get warmer 2 degrees to 4 degrees than today. Global average precipitation over land has likely increased since 1950 with a faster rate of increase since the 1980s. For instance, again, for a mid-climate scenario, simulated change with 2 degrees Celsius global warming, almost all Mediterranean basin, including Turkey, will be much more dry in the future for the annual and the winter precipitation, and also will be faced with the less snow cover in the future. Also, across warming levels with different warming levels, for instance, 2 degrees global warming, or the worst scenario, climatic change at 4 degrees global warming. Across warming levels, change in soil moisture, which is very important for the agriculture and the existence, largely follow change in the precipitation, but also show some differences. due to the increase of the evapotranspiration, due to the increased temperature. For instance, when we taken into account the severity change at 4 degrees warming, almost all Mediterranean basin with a dry summer subtropical climate, and also most of Turkey will be experienced in the future much more dry conditions in terms of the moisture, which is bad news for the ecosystems, water sources, and agriculture, and also other ecosystems and the biodiversity living in Mediterranean region and Turkey. Human influences is very likely that the main driver of the global retreat of glaciers since the 1990s and the decrease in Arctic sea ice area between 1979 to 1988 and 2010 to 2019, about for instance, about 40% decrease in September, about 10% decrease in March will be forecasted for the future under the global climate change. On the other hand, global climate change is already affecting every inhabited region across the globe, including the Mediterranean countries and Turkey and the Middle East countries, with human influence contributing to the many observed change in weather and climate extents. For instance, the extreme air temperature will increase in most of the Mediterranean countries with a high confidence, and also agricultural and droughts will be much more in the future in the Mediterranean countries and with the Middle East countries or Western Asian countries with a medium confidence for the agricultural, hydrological, and the ecological droughts, which means that in the future, agricultural, ecological, and the hydro drought areas will be much more affected in those countries, which is the worst of the human-induced climate change for our region. Projected change in extremes are larger in frequency and density with every additional increment of the global warming, which is also this effect will increase under the worst future warming scenarios with 4 degrees Celsius. For instance, the extreme terrestrial air temperatures and also extreme terrestrial precipitation events with 10-year and also other period of times in the future. World regions also will be affected by the various climate impact drivers. For instance, when the Mediterranean basin with Turkey in the future, due to the climate change impact drivers, Mediterranean will be much more hotter and more fine weather, and also in some regions in the Mediterranean, we will expect more fluvial flooding, or in some regions, the Mediterranean regions, drought severe and the much more frequent drought events will be expected for the future. Thank you very much for giving me this chance.
Thank you for sharing all the information. There is just one thing I have to say for the Turkish-speaking people who couldn't hear you well. That is because the translators couldn't hear you well. That's because they couldn't do the translation. But for Turkish speakers, we have a full video of Professor Dr. Murat Türkeş on our YouTube channel. It's in Turkish and with graphics and all details. So please visit that. And I ask Kaan to copy the link of this video, please. Thank you. So do you have any other questions to Murat or all the other panelists?
Could you tell Murat that the internet is bad for him?
Yeah, actually, Murat, you have a connection problem, but I believe that you are at the university, or I don't know. But so we heard you, but not very well. Are there any other questions? Because we have like 4 minutes left, only 4. And if people who are listening us via Zoom, şu anda daha da kötü. Now it's way worse. I don't know if there is the connection problem and it's not really capturing where you are.
Başka iyi olanlardan isteyelim.
Okay.
Bir soru var orada.
There is a question to Süheyla Doğan. As a woman leader, I would like to ask question. Oh yeah. Okay, I don't know how to translate the question.
How we can manage to achieve toplumsal cinsiyet eşitliği, equality for women and other groups. Can you give us some information as a woman leader?
Yeah, in Turkey, mainly women and LGBTIs are in front line in the ecological movement. I am very happy about it. Also, recently in the decision makings, women are really in front. For example, I am the spokeswoman of Union of Ecology. We are 2 women together, co-speakers, 2 women. And also we have Kaz Dağları Ecology Platform, 2 spokeswomen also at the same time. And in my association, in the decision boarding, we are nearly 20 altogether. 18 is women. Only we have 2 men in our boarding. So I think ecological movement will help emancipation of women also together. In Turkey, we have a women platform. We call it a Women Platform for Equality. It is called EŞİK. I also work there. In EŞİK, we started discussing ecofeminism, and we have workshops for ecofeminism also. And also in the Union of Ecology, we have decided to have a special council, assembly, women, Union of Ecology, women assembly, something like that. So we organize separately also as women in ecology movement. And we have connections with the grassroots organizations, which are really mainly women. In Kirazlıyayla, women are in front. In İkizdere, women are in front. In Akbelen also. So, and other GES movements, geothermal energy movements. We have good connections with the grassroots women. We come together either on Zoom or we visit them. So I think ecological movement will help also in the gender perspective for the equality of women. I hope women movement will also get closer to the ecology movement more. This wasn't the case in the past, but now it is changing. Also, labor movement was a bit far to ecological movement. It is now getting better in Turkey. Trade unions are more interested in the ecology issue. we have common meetings now together. I hope women movement, labor movement, and ecology movement will unite, and we will all fight together against climate crisis. I hope the answer is enough.
Yep.
Is it?
The time is finished.
Yes, thank you so much.
One question from Greek friend.
Can we just go
Short?
outside and discuss there?
Only one small.
Okay.
Well, ecofeminism is the solution for the future.
Yes.
Just a second.
Yes.
Ecofeminism is the solution for the future.
Yes.
Yes.
I call
Yes.
myself as ecofeminist.
Say loud, everyone. Yes. Yes. Yes.
I'm going.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much for being here this morning and also listening us on Zoom. And hope to see you soon again.
Tomorrow.
Keep fighting.
Tomorrow. Kazma bırak
Oh, yeah,
toplantısına gelsinler.
Tomorrow too, we have another session with Greek friends about the east of Mediterranean.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all very much for coming, and thank you to our wonderful panel here on Zoom. And if you'd like to exit, when you come to the exit, turn left and go out through the fire exit.
Okay.
I will show you the way.
Lovely.
Buradakiler için son bir duyurum olacak. Bizim burası için hazırlamış olduğumuz bildiriyi buradan paylaşamadık. Ancak web sitemizden ve sosyal medyadan bunu bulabilirsiniz.
Sen arkadaşla ilgilensen.
Hoşçakalın.
Chat'te sanırım bir soru vardı. Bu paylaştığım kanallar üzerinden soruları alabilirim ben isterseniz. Şimdi zamanınız bittiği için bana yöneltilen o soruyu cevaplayamadım.
Burayı kapatmamızı istiyorlar.
Evet, siz de
iletişim
devam
içinde olun.
edebilirsiniz. Bizim çıkmamız gerekiyor salonu terk etmek için. Ancak Kaan ve oradaki diğer koalisyonun arkadaşlar sorularınızı cevaplayabilir.
Okay. Yanlış.
Teşekkür
için de çok teşekkürler.
Selamlar. Çiğdem, siz de dışarı çıktığınızda tekrar bağlanabilirsiniz. Buradan devam edebiliriz belki.
Bizim biraz zor olabilir.
Zor ya bizim
Çünkü
için.
lobi gibi bir yer yok
Evet.
tam manasıyla.
Sokağa çıkıyoruz hemen.
Hadi bay bay. Siz
Görüşürüz,
siz
hoşça
kalın.
kapatırsınız.
Hoşçakalın.
Bay
Hoşçakalın.
bay.
Ben de çıkmak zorundayım, bir dava
Tamam,
dilekçesi
isteyen
yapacağım.
çıksın arkadaşlar. Toplantı bitti aslında yani.
Kapatabiliriz Zoom'u.
Muhabbet etmek isteyenler. İstiyorsanız herkes için kapatayım. Yarın tekrar buluşacağız. Kazma bırak toplantısı var. Duyurusunu atarız. Görüşürüz.
Tamam Çiğdem, hadi sen kapat o
Kapat.
zaman. Yarın
O zaman
görüşürüz.
herkes için kapatıyorum. Bay bay.
Bay bay.